Hey, friends, I'm your host, Dr. Elizabeth Ssemmanda, the intuitive psychiatrist, and you're listening to Stepping into Soul Power, friends. We are on this journey together, this journey called life. And while we're here on this journey, many of us have experienced what is called a spiritual awakening. And sometimes that journey can take you through some things and
Yes.
many things. And it can be lonely. There can be trials and tribulations, and so it's really important that we have a strategy or people that we can talk to about this, people that can help us go through that. And our next guest is someone that does this for many different people, a certified quantum energy healer, a healing touch facilitator, spiritual counselor, life coach, director, and founder of a Center for Self Discovery. Han Nuen, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Elizabeth. I should mention that I lately uh, want to be a guide for people who looking for some guidance in spiritual awakening. Someone who been there, done that. To demystify the process and eliminate some misunderstanding of of the process. It's not like rosy and all great like we heard of.
Yes. It's not all chocolate and butterflies. We will get to that. Well,
Sure.
that we don't, I would love for our audience to get to know you. I want to get a good sense of your background because this is a very specific path. How'd you go down this path of developing this program that focuses on the Center for Self Discovery?
I begin to go through life with attitude that I can do anything. I can solve any problem that I have. And then I encounter the difficulty in my marriage, the challenge, in a marriage. So I realized that I do not have all the solution, all the answer. So I begin to embark on my spiritual path. And through that, looking through my uh, problem or challenges in my own with Zen meditation. Um, working through my own issue, contemplating on issues that I have, observe how it manifests and how it take over my emotion, my thinking, and then how to be with that and see the way through. When an emotion manifests, you be present with it,
Mm,
and that present would transform the emotion. You just need to be present with it,
mm,
not to be present to transform it, just to be present with it. And then
yes.
the switching would occur. You know, the mind would say, "Okay, let me be present with this, so I can transform it." It won't work like that. Just be present with it.
Very good. Very good. Okay, so you had mentioned you were in a marriage and there was a turning point in there. Could you speak specifically what was going through your mind? How did that spark then wanting to embark on a more spiritual path?
Well, like I said, I thought I can solve any problem. I can manage any issue. But in marriage, it's very complicated. We come to conflict in money,
Yeah.
in 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 how to raise children. Our children, we have two kids, and also I'm come from a Buddhist background, and my ex coming from a Catholic.
Oh, wow.
That's a different, yeah.
Well,
So
you were tested.
well, what happened is like I said, okay, you are Catholic, I'm a Buddhist. Let's keep, our own faith. And she said,
Yes.
sure. And then after we married, she asked me to go to church. I'm like, that's breaking the word right there. You know what I mean?
Yes.
But some people do that, some people just say yes, yes, just to get whatever they need, like to get married, just so that's an example of a thing that can cause problem. And then money issue, how should we spend the money? We spend like $3 or $4,000 on Christmas gift. I said that doesn't make sense to me. And we don't really use the gift that we get, from people. So it seems like a waste of time to me. But my ex-wife was thinking that you have to buy people gift, $100 gift, and you add it up, 20 people, 30 people. I mean, we really use the gift that people give us, right? I mean, that's the waste of money to me. Anyway, um, yeah, and then my mom was staying with us, which is
Oh,
not, not a good thing. But in my culture, sometimes you stay with family member, conflict arise, and it's just the way my ex approach it and present it. I think that's like, no, you don't. There's a way to talk about it, but I just feel like that's not, the way that we should approach on that conflict, with family member.
yes. Yeah, so that series of events sparked you wanting to get to know you deeper? Is that what you're saying?
Uh, to really to find a solution, for all
Okay.
this problem solve.
Okay, okay. Okay.
To get to know me better later after I'm on the path for a while, 10 years or something.
Okay.
Then I begin to ask the question, why I'm here on earth?
Yes.
What is the purpose of living?
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
You had mentioned that you help people who are going through their spiritual awakening. Can you define what is that?
Usually we get lost in our thinking, in our emotion, but spiritual awakening is like, it's like seeing from the high perspective. See the character, how you thinking, behave, action, make a decision. See in oneself clear from a higher perspective, from that objective from the outside to see the character, which created that. Oh my God, you see yourself better, you see yourself clearer because you never able to see that from a high perspective.
Okay. So you're saying it's that instance where we see ourselves from a higher perspective. Can you talk about do some people seem to fly? It seems to be the best thing for some people, and then for others they have more trouble as they go through the path.
Well, awakening experience is a wonderful, awesome uh, experience. You feel happy, you feel bliss, you feel very clear, very grounded, and it feel like you're on honeymoon, spiritual honeymoon with yourself. Um, you seem to be a superman among. I mean, dealing with life, you have no problem. You can see things clearly. You see your thought. You see your reaction. So usually, some people go through spiritual awakening, and then you come back to your normal mindset. No longer have that clarity. No longer have that bliss. How you come back to yourself, and then you feel confused because like, where is that wonderful mindset or perspective? Now I'm oh me, and it's just like you feel confused because it's like, what was that about? So some people get convinced by the mind that nothing happened. You just yourself, you just imagine that, but actually that happened. Awakening happened. Now your mind come back and it tried to convince you that didn't happen. But that's nothing new. you're still your old self. So that caused confusion. And after awakening, everything's still there. Your old pattern, your pain, your suffering, your hurt, still there. So how do you deal with those now? That's why you need someone who went through that process on themselves and work with those to help them.
Okay, so I guess I want to dig a little bit deeper, because I know that there are a range of spiritual awakening experiences that people can have. What are practical things that people can do to help themselves as they navigate that path?
Awakening has many levels. It could be a brief glimpse of 5 seconds, of 10 seconds. It could be 2 weeks, like I said. You stay in it for 2 weeks straight, in that wonderful state of mind. One obstacle with if you awakening experience happening, it could be interrupted by your thinking, and your mind would jump in and disturb it and interrupt it. If it happened, if you can let it happen, don't think, oh my God, what is it? What is it? All that kind of chatting for the mind would distract, would pull you out of the experience. So if you're in 10 seconds of that wonderful awakening experience, just quietly observe it. Let it show you so it can continue. If thought in the wind enter, then it would be interrupted. Write it down right away. Wait a minute, what happened? Journal is the way to confirm that you feel like that. I also advise people to do a recording, self-recording after that. So you can see your face, the way you express. The energy is still there. So you can capture in video so that later you can, I cannot really convince you that nothing happened. That's very often. Mind would convince you that, oh, nothing happened. You just imagine. People have some unresolved issue from the past that take attention from everything else. You always think about that. That make us focus on the problem, which prevent us from seeing the whole picture, the wide land, which is awakening, not identified with, when we see from that wide perspective, we can see the character, the thought, the thinking, the thought, the emotion. And that is like, okay, yeah, sure. That's just the thought. That's just a reaction. You don't identify totally with this body mind, which is make it awakening impossible when you have so much problems, so much pain and suffering. Only thing is you only thing about you. Does that answer your question?
So it sounds like the practical things they can do are being able to recognize when it's happening, observing your thoughts, writing it down, and then you said recording yourself during that process.
Right
Uh,
after that.
okay, after.
Record it. Don't just have no proof that something happened. If you feel wonderful, you feel bliss, record it. Say that, okay, right now I feel this way, that way. Describe the feeling that you have right now, right then. During the happening, if it's brief, let it happen so it can last longer. Don't interfere with it. If you have 10 seconds, yeah, be quiet. Just let it happen.
Well, from your perspective, are there specific resources that helped you as you were going through that process?
Yeah, if you could have a community with good teacher that experience of awakening, then yeah, you can get help. I would recommend a community with leader teacher that have that experience.
Okay.
Some people feel so confused with that awakening experience that they talk and share with family member. And then the family members that you should go to mental doctor, psychiatrist, and they conclude that, hey, something wrong with you. The second for mental episode. So, so yeah, some people end up in the mental hospital because of that. It's very traumatic and without guidance, without someone to share with you. Talk to family member might not be a good idea. You know, you need to talk to spiritual people who know that, not family member. They might not know what's going on. You know, so yeah, I mean,
So I guess it's a little bit of a catch-22 because I guess I'm coming from it as a psychiatrist. There is a difference between um, a spiritual and awakening and then some other mental health issues. And you can
yes,
also have a spiritual awakening and definitely have some mental health issues.
sure.
So ultimately, um, if you need medical care, then you you will need to find a professional that's able to help you.
Sure. The thing is, if you see a psychiatrist that never have a awakening experience or have no knowledge of that, then you know the doctor that person only think of mental issue, you know, because the perspective of person who go through the awakening experience, you see yourself in everything. But that, if you say that to a person without, spiritual experience, I think that you must be crazy, you know? Not the conclusion likely, you know? Because how can you are not you? Because that's the usual, normal, everyday kind of thing, you know? You have to be you. What do you say, you and me, or I'm everything? You see what I mean?
Uh,
That
well, okay,
that is
I'm gonna push back a little bit because I'm gonna say this, and as a psychiatrist, because
yeah,
I don't want people to be afraid of getting psychiatric care. And I will also say this that many times to be hospitalized, there has to be a concern for safety. You could have all kinds of thoughts, but there has to be a concern about being safe. Like if someone were having suicidal thoughts, right? Or if
yeah,
someone wanted to kill another person, right? Like then that would
yes,
be
yes.
like, oh, I think we have to do something. Um,
I
so
have a good example.
okay, sure,
A
sure.
person go through the awakening experience can see that he's everything, right? But if he went up to the 10th floor of a building and say that, hey, I'm everything, nothing wrong with me, and it's that time to jump up that building,
Yeah, then no.
then you should call the police,
Yeah, we
put him
would
in
call the
hospital.
police. But
That's,
yeah, yeah,
that's
I would
example.
call the
That's
police.
example. Yes, that's an example that is not all okay. It just depends on the state of the person, state of mind of the person.
Yeah,
You see people in the back in the 60s, they use LSD and all that, so they have a similar experience, right? So they can jump off the building and kill themselves.
yeah,
See
that's not
that
that's like a safety
exactly,
concern. Like, no,
exactly.
we
That's what
shutting
I'm
that
saying.
down.
I agree with you. I agree with you. It doesn't mean a person go through the awakening experience doesn't mean that he's okay. Depend on the psychological issue the person had right before that. It could
Yeah,
be delusion, right? It could be like delusional. Um, it's perspective like that, but doesn't mean if I'm everything doesn't mean I can go to somebody else's house and drop them and get the money. You see what I mean?
yeah,
And
yeah,
that's all we all want. See what I mean? That is not practical. That doesn't apply correctly. You see, it's just the perspective. That's all. It doesn't mean you have to take action based on that violate the individual rights and all that, right? Or safety, right, of others.
yes, yeah,
You don't you go through that in 2 week experience of awakening and you go out and you see a fancy car and you just jump on a ride. and, and connect the wire and drive away and say, hey, all we all want. See, that's not correct. That's not correct. That's not proper.
Yeah, well, I guess I want to get a sense from you. It seems like that experience happens for a particular reason. And I
Right.
wonder what you think that reason is.
It gives you a deep perspective about life. From my perspective, awakening experience is reveal who you truly are. Every human think that he's his body, he's this body, he's thinking, he's the emotion. But you go through that awakening experience, you realize that no, you're not. You are this body. You just happen to be a tool for experiencing life. All the thinking and the emotion, it come and go. You're much deeper and bigger than that. I'm gonna go back to that. Awakening doesn't eliminate mental issue, mental illness.
It doesn't. No.
A human psychological problem. If you have issue with trust, it's still there after awakening. And um,
I mean,
if you have a marriage issue, it's still there after awakening. Because it will come back after that. It will come back to normal state of mind, and all the issues still here. But it would be easier to deal with them with help, you know, with a spiritual teacher, with psychiatrist, psychiatrist.
I feel everyone has different strokes for different folks, right? So for some people, it will be they'll need a spiritual teacher. Some people like want to learn from nature. Some people talk to a psychiatrist. I think knowing yourself is important too. Knowing yourself, like what resonates with you, what speaks to you. I know that I wonder for you when you have worked with people, it sounds like there are often you had mentioned like misunderstandings regarding the process. And I guess I want to get a sense like what misunderstandings are there and if there are any, can you clear them up?
Well, the obvious one is like if I'm awake, then every problem disappear forever. That's an illusion, a wishful thinking. Reality is that, like I said, if you are a person who have a habit of cussing, that's still there. And maybe after awakening, you realize that, oh, why would I do that? Is that something I want to do? Then you begin to look at that habit, and work with that. Nothing magical happened from awakening that would disappear everything, that wipe the plate clean. Some issue disappear, but most of them are still here. And after awakening, you come back to the old self. You still deal with financial problem, emotional problem, all the problem in your life. But you have a clearer perspective. You can work with them one by one, easier and easier to transform them.
Okay, so it
If I might add this, you asked like, why people are working? I said, we here on life and most of us don't know who we are, why we're here. So awakening gives us that perspective. Oh, that's why I'm here.
so what is the answer to that question? Who are we and why are we here?
It's like God is so powerful, so not so exciting. So he like, okay, let me create human, plants, animals, everything to experience me as God. So when a person awakens, it's like, oh my God, I am God, I am everything. just a play. Imagine that in a humongous level of play, you see movie. That's a play, right? That's a movie, right? A play. You have a character, you have a plot, you have a this and that, all the emotional. Imagine a play at the universal cosmic level. Everything. We looking for ourselves, right? Everyone looking for themselves, right? Who they are. And we play that. We will play that through human. I am playing a man, Vietnamese man from Vietnam, marry, have children, deal with all the problem, deal with life hassle, making a living, all the stress. So when I work, I'm like, oh my God, all the stress of worry of like, oh my God, it's done. Imagine that movie play at the cosmic level everywhere.
Yes. And for you, as you've gone on your journey, can you give us an instance where you really stepped into your soul power?
It's not like 24/7, but if you practice and you keep that openness, uh, there's a moment that you connect with that again, experience of awakening again in the everyday mind. When I work with my client, I receive guidance of what to do, what to say, what to guide. In a conflict with my family member, I step back and I see myself and I see my brother or sister from that perspective. And, it dissolved the tension, struggle um, with the person. So, yeah, that perspective appear from time to time. Depends on how diligent you practice. Like I said, awakening happen and then it's gone. It's not like continue like that. No, it's not. That's illusion. That doesn't happen like that. Even famous like Dalai Lama, he might have experienced awakening and then it's back to normal. He doesn't stay in that 24/7. Nobody does. Normal, everyday mind is where we always land it back. That's the thing that people don't realize.
Okay.
I have
Okay.
a friend of mine who stay in this awakening space for 3 years. 3 years, imagine. But now she's back here with normal, everyday mindset. But you remember, okay, this I know the truth. Uh, but now back to here at normal everyday life, I still remember that. You see, keep that in mind or in heart, that perspective that we are God playing human. And if you look at your life, you can see that all the conflict, all the big challenges, just to give you that have to be some way that this will be resolved. You see that in the life of Christ,
Yes.
Jesus.
Yes. Yes. And so I know that there are people in our audience who'd love to connect with you. How might they go about doing that?
My website is center dash for dash self dash discovery dot org. That's the website. My telephone number is 703-627-8907 with country code +1. That's the US and Canada country code.
Okay.
And the email, my first name, my last name together at Center for Self Discovery. with a dash in between the word. Not all. Yes.
And I know that you've been working on creating a community in Vietnam. Can you speak to that?
Sure. Yeah. Since COVID, 2021, I've been creating a community through Zoom in Vietnam. We meet twice a week, every Sunday and Wednesday in the morning time in the US hour. But in Vietnam, it's the evening, 8 p.m. in the evening. So we meet through Zoom and we share uh, everyday's kind of issue, problem with family member, with work, with marriage, or spiritual issue, post awakening. I have a friend who in the group who awaken and still go through issue that psychological or spiritual. So we share. Um, I would offer practice with that issue. I have a 1,300 clip on my Vietnamese YouTube channel. Um, some of them like 3 hours long, some of them like a few minutes, just for focus. So yeah, I've been working with that for the past 4 or 5 years, and still do. Now we just meet once a week on Sunday. I want to devote my time to build the English speaking version of my channel, YouTube channel. And I thank you for the podcast today with you, Elizabeth.
Great. Yeah, it was wonderful to connect. And I thank you for being a light in this world. And uh, I look forward to what you are going to birth into this beautiful world.
I hope to have a chance to speak with you again on this podcast. Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
If you haven't heard it yet today, I appreciate you. The soul in me honors the soul in you. If you'd like to see more episodes like this, please subscribe or click here. And friends, if this spoke to you, leave a comment below. We would love to hear from you.